Indeed, welcome to another episode of Football Fridays with Rashad live on YouTube. Let's get into the recap of what took place last week in college football for week one. Go with my picks of the week from week one, how I did, what I'm going to be doing for week two for the picks of the week in the games that's going to be played tomorrow, and NFL games for Sunday, and what took place last night. Let's get into it. I'll start with college football from last week. The games that stood out last week. Obviously, Georgia is proved why they are number one for a reason. They blew out Clemson 34-3. They showed why they're the number one team in the country. It's a team that's on a mission. Carson Beck threw for 278 yards, a couple of touchdown passes. They just dominated Clemson. Clemson's just not as good as it used to be. Maybe Double Sweet is not doing enough in the transfer portal, but they're just not as good. This game was very low scoring in the first half. Clemson was hanging in there with Georgia. They only trailed 6-0, but you got to play 60 minutes of football, and in the second half, it was all Georgia dominating the game as they won their 40th consecutive regular season game. Haven't lost a regular season game in like 4 years as they won 34-3. We had no contributions from Kobe Young, new transfer, and London Humphreys. These are two new transfers for this team. And Nate Frazier scored on a 1-yard touchdown. Kobe Young caught a 7-yard touchdown pass. London Humphreys caught a touchdown pass. This game was played on neutral field in Atlanta. Things there was no hand in business in Atlanta, winning 34-3. See other notable games from last week. Miami was impressive on the road against Florida, winning 41-17. Cam Ward made his debut as a new quarterback coming from Washington State. He had 385 yards, passing 3 touchdowns. He played very well, knew how to extend plays and make it happen. So he was able to win 41-17. Miami's not back yet. They have to win the national championship in order to prove that, at least get to a playoff. So long season, see what happens. Notre Dame beat Texas A&M 23-13. Michigan, the defending champs, won 30-10. Surprising score, even though they won the game. Oregon only beat Idaho 24-14. Got a new quarterback, Dylan Gabriel. He scored 24 points. What's surprising of the weekend was Florida State getting upset again, second consecutive week in a row to Boston College, 28-13. That was a big surprise. The offense is not doing well, only scoring a combined total of 34 points. They scored 21 against Georgia Tech and only 13 against Boston College. And this was a home game, home opener, and they could not handle the running game, especially from a defensive standpoint. The rushing yards by Boston College, as they ran for 263 yards. And also it's the second loss in the ACC conference for Florida State after losing to Georgia Tech. So they are stunned again as Trayshawn Ward is callous, 138 yards of offense on a 13-yard touchdown reception against his former team, because he played with Florida State from 2019 to 2022. He had 77 yards rushing and 61 yards receiving. So he definitely got back at Florida State. Bill O'Brien is now the new head coach. Off to a great start as they won 20-13. DJ Uiagalelei has not established himself as a big-time quarterback so far. Yes, he threw for 272 yards, but they were trailing by a lot most of this game. So Boston College was in control starting in the second quarter, going up 14-6. They was up 14-0. So they had a lead for most of this game. So you from behind, you're gonna pass more. So your numbers gonna look better than it really is. But That's what stood out. And also LSU lost to USC last Sunday, 27-20. USC make their debut as a Big Ten conference team. So that's what stood out in week one. All the teams got going. Now picks of the week, I did pretty good. I was 4-1 last week. Let's go over the recap. My picks of the week. I was 6-3 overall. Georgia beat Clemson. I was right about that game. Notre Dame over Texas A&M. I was right about that game. Miami over Florida. One game I got wrong was LSU over USC. I was dead wrong about that game. Penn State beat West Virginia, so I was 4-1 overall. I'm 6-3. All right, so let's get into week two. It starts tomorrow. Not that many good games. I mean, the only game that stand out above all are two games. Obviously, number 3 Texas versus number 10 Michigan. That's a game that's going to be played at 12 noon on Fox. And the Tennessee NC State game. 2 ranked versus ranked opponents. Those are the only 2 games that stand out in week 2 of the NCAA football slate of games. Tennessee against North Carolina State. So these games are not that great, except for these 2 games. But I got Texas winning this game. They got a better quarterback than Quinn Ewers. I think he's just a better quarterback. It's a rare matchup between these 2 blue bloods when it comes to, college football matchups. It's a rare matchup. The last time these 2 programs was on the field against each other was in the 2005 Rose Bowl. Vince Young, I believe, was on that team. And that's all that stands out in this game is that they usually don't meet each other. Let's look at how many times have they met historically. They only met one time. That was in the Rose Bowl in 2005. So it's only the second time these 2 blue bloods have met. So only the second time, and they lost 38-37 to Texas. So keep your eyes on what's going to happen in the trenches. You look at Texas; they got 4 returning starters, offensive line. Right tackle Cameron Williams was named SEC's co-offensive lineman of the week after the first game. Obviously, the group, this unit on offensive line has to protect Quinn Ewers from a Michigan defensive line that is led by All-American Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. So keep your eyes on Ewers. I think Texas is going to win. I just think I got a better quarterback. Ewers, Quinn Ewers of Texas, going up against secondary that includes All-American cornerback Will Johnson. So see what he does against him. And for the Wolverines, keep your eyes on I know the quarterback situation is very unsettling. They played walk-on Davis Warren last week against Fresno State, and Alex Orji, Texas native, both threw touchdown passes, but they had struggled on the offensive end. So when you look at also Michigan, they have won 23 straight consecutive games at home. That's the 3rd longest winning streak at home in school history, going since 1969, 1973. But Texas has a history of snapping long winning streaks, especially last season. Go no further than last season, they beat Alabama snapping their 21-game winning streak at home. So Texas know how to win on the road. Also, Texas has 10 receivers catch caught passes in the first half against Colorado State. Yours has a touchdown pass in 14 consecutive games. Also, when you look at these these two powerhouses of programs, Michigan is number one in most college football wins with 1,005, and Texas is number four with 949. If I got Texas winning this game, I just think the quarterback's going to do his thing. And Quinn Ewers. The second game I have is Georgia Tech versus Syracuse. Georgia Tech is 2-0. They're looking good right now. They travel to Syracuse. And I got Georgia Tech. I mean, they're known for their running game, their rushing attack. That's going to be the key to this game is their running game against the Syracuse defense. The Orange allowed 255 yards on the ground to Ohio. So the Yellow Jackets have ran for 414 yards on the ground in their first two games, so that's their forte, is running the football. Keep your eyes on Jamal Haynes of Georgia Tech. He's averaging 5.7 yards a carry. He's combined for 3 touchdowns and 159 yards, and Georgia Tech's 2 wins. Also, keep your eyes for Syracuse. Keep your eyes on West Virginia transfer James Hurd and War Sparrows. Keep your eyes on them. Georgia Tech is 2-0 for the first time since 2016. The Yellow Jackets average 7.8 yards per play against Georgia Tech. Out of the game, Georgia State points 96 to 360 and rushed for 225 yards. Georgia Tech held the Panthers 3 of 12 on third down and finished with 8 tackles for loss. And Georgia Tech is one of the teams that the Orange have faced the least since joining the ACC. How Georgia Tech win this game? I just think they're going to be dominant up front as far as running the football. Florida's A&M against Miami. I got the Hurricanes win this game. The thing that's interesting about Florida A&M is that Florida A&M has a 13-game winning streak. That's the longest in FCS right now. The Rattlers, they're 2-0. So I expect Miami to pick up where they left off, handle their business, and get it done against Florida A&M. You look at this series, Florida A&M beat Miami 16-3 in Tallahassee when the teams first met in 1979. Every game since has been a home game for the Hurricanes. Miami's 10-0 in these contests as they outscored the Rattlers of Florida A&M 511-59 in those games. They won't meet again till 2026. So I'll see how Cam Ward plays in the second game. As a starter, he had great numbers last week against Florida, 385 yards passing. That was the most by a Hurricane quarterback in his first start since 1979. And Florida A&M has a quarterback in Daniel Richardson. He has 2 FCS National Player of the Week awards through 2 weeks. He's thrown 568 yards so far, 6 touchdowns against Norfolk State and South Carolina State. Has not thrown an interception yet, so see what happens. Miami seeking an 18th consecutive home opening winning streak, which will extend the longest such streak in school history. The last time the Hurricanes lost their season opening home game was in 2006 against Florida State, 13-10. And when we look at the Hurricanes, man, they got a very favorable schedule. They got to play Florida A&M tomorrow. Then on the 21st, at home against Ball State. They play Florida A&M, and then they play at Tampa against Florida, and then come back at home for the ACC opener against Virginia Tech. So Miami not going to be away from Florida for a while. They already played in Florida last week in Gainesville, so they won't be traveling outside of Florida no time soon for the first 5 games because they're all in the state of Florida. It's the first time since 2013 that Miami will be in Florida for each of its first 5 games. I got Miami winning that game. I got Tennessee beating NC State. That's my 4th pick. I got Miami beating Florida A&M. And I got Georgia Tech beating Syracuse, and Texas over Michigan. Now the 4th game I got is Tennessee over NC State. This is the Duke Mayo Classic. I got Tennessee winning this matchup. Nico Amaliva, definitely a highly touted quarterback. So this game's going to be played at North Carolina. Obviously, NC State is the home team. He threw for 314 yards in the first half. That was a school record for the Vols. They won 69-3 against Chattanooga. So obviously they're going to be tested going into North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, to face the NC State Wolfpack. So I gotta go with Tennessee. Simple as that. When you look at these matchups, these two teams have a lot of experience on the offensive line. Only Florida State and Oklahoma State have more combined starts by the offensive line. So keep your eyes on the offensive line, how they pass protect. Also, when you look at Nico Amaliva, he has a lot of tight ends he can throw to. Ethan Davis, Holden Staves, Miles Kitselman. They're all 6'4" and or taller. Staves started at Notre Dame. Kitselman played at Alabama. Obviously, the wide receivers, Drew McCoy, he's in his 6th year, and Dante Thornton, who's a transfer from Oregon, and Chris Brazell, the second is among 7 FBS transfers from the portal. So this game is going to be played where the Carolina Panthers play at. So it's going to be on a neutral field. And there's NC State has 20 players from the area, and Tennessee has long, recruited players, gotten players, top prospects from its neighboring state. Also keep your eyes on NC State's KC's Concepcion from the Wolfpack. Keep your eyes on him. But I like Tennessee to win this game. Lastly, the Oregon, I expect them to bounce back offensively and play well against Boise State. I got Oregon winning this game. I think Dylan Gabriel, transfer from Oklahoma, will play better. He played well last week, 41 of 49, 380 yards, and 2 scores. But again, uncharacteristically, they only scored 24 points last week against Idaho. I think they're going to do better this time. Boise State, they won an opener on the road of 56-45. In the opener, Ashton Jeanty ran for 267 yards, 6 touchdowns, and both for school records. So, see how the Oregon Ducks defense try to stop him. The problem with Oregon is that 5 of Oregon's 8 penalties were on the offensive line. They allowed 3 sacks. Oregon's rush account for just 137 yards against Idaho. Also, Boise State has won all 3 of previous meetings between the two teams. The Broncos beat the Ducks 37-32 in Eugene in 2008, then 19-8 in Boise the next year. Third win came in 2017. Las Vegas rolled 38-28. So those are my picks of the week. I got Oregon over uh, Boise State, Tennessee over NC State, Miami over Florida A&M, Georgia Tech over Syracuse in a big game, the best game overall is Texas over Michigan. So my picks of the week. So that's to look at the college football landscape of things. Now it's time to get into the National Football League. Last night you had the Chiefs beating the Ravens 27-20, and there's an update right now. I don't have Peacock myself, but those who don't have Peacock, um, right now the Packers are winning 26-24 with 11:55 to go in third quarter. The Eagles got the ball at their own 30-yard line. So this is a shootout in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So this is a shootout, no defense thus far. But right now, Packers are winning by 2 points, 26-24. Now the Chiefs-Ravens game, um, the Ravens had the ball in the last seconds, but touchdown that wasn't, due to the fact that Isaiah Likely foot was on the line. So in the back of the end zone, if he would just kept his feet in, it would have been a tie game. We would have had overtime, but give credit to the Chiefs. They found a way to get it done, and they was able to win 27-20 in this opening game of the season as they try to pursue a third consecutive Super Bowl title unprecedented. Mahomes had 291 yards passing with a touchdown pass to rookie sensation Xavier Worthy, also scoring a rushing touchdown in his NFL debut. Again, they did what they had to do. It was up 10 points. Give credit to Ravens for bouncing back. Isaiah Likely had 111 yards receiving and a score. Um, but give credit to the Chiefs that just know how to win these kind of games, close games at that. And one issue is that Rashad Rice, he maybe should not be playing. He obviously is dealing with his role in an alleged street racing crash in Dallas. He hasn't been suspended yet, so it's surprising that he was able to play. But he had a big game himself, Rashad Rice. See, we'll look at his stats. He had about 7 catches, 103 yards, no touchdowns, but he was definitely effective, their best receiver. But he should not be playing because, this situation with the crash that he experienced in the offseason, that crawl wreck, street racing in Dallas. So he has avoided NFL punishment, but the Chiefs should have did something. But either way, he played, and the Chiefs was able to win. Simple as that. Now, next game they will have is against Cincinnati next Sunday, and the Ravens will play the Vegas Raiders. Okay, let's move forward and get into the games. Keep your eyes on. Let's overlook at the stats and numbers and all this other good stuff when it comes to the NFL slate of games. And then I'll go with my picks of the week. Also, the Steelers, Russell Wilson, the quarterback, is limited in practice if he to start, so he may not play. We'll see. Also, the Dolphins made Jalen Ramsey the top highest paid cornerback in the NFL. He becomes the top paid cornerback, Jalen Ramsey. See the details with his contract. $3 years, $72.3 million. That's his record contract being the highest paid cornerback. Other news in NFL is that last night's game between since the Raiders, since the Ravens and the Chiefs met, the Ravens did great. They did an excellent job in the ratings. Looked really, really good. They shattered the Ravens record. And not surprised, though. People are starting for the NFL. NFL is king. But the Ravens and the Chiefs, ratings-wise, did an excellent, excellent job. Ratings-wise, people definitely tuned in. Obviously, football is king. So, 28.9 million viewers tuned in last night. 28.9 million. It was the most watched NFL kickoff game since it started in 2002. It surpassed the 27.6 million that watched New England Patriots defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2015 opener. So, must have been many people that tuned in. It's a 5% increase from 27.5 million that watched Detroit beat Kansas City last year. So despite we had to start, a little late because of the storm that included lightning. So that's a storyline that. So that's they happy about that, the NFL and NBC especially, because it also drew a 37 share on NBC, which is the network's largest for any regular season game since it started carrying NFL primetime games in 2006. It shares the percentage of all television sets in use at any given time watching the program. All right, so let's get into what to look for in these matchups for Week 1 for Sunday. We're gonna start with the Steelers and the Falcons again. Russell Wilson, iffy to start. He may not start this week. We'll see. But when you look at the Steelers, man, what you keep your eyes on is not just the quarterback, Russell Wilson, but keep your eyes on inside linebacker Patrick Queen, who will be a key part of the plan to slow down running back Bijan Robinson. The Steelers can count on Robinson, who, despite inconsistent usage in his rookie season, had 176 yards, 4 touchdowns. When you look at the run defense of the Steelers, they rank in the bottom half of the league, allowing 4.3 yards per carry last season. By adding Patrick Queen to play alongside Landon Roberts should shore up that unit. When you look at the Falcons, obviously they have Matthew Judon as an acquisition. Keep your eyes on him. Obviously, keep your eyes on Kirk Cousins. Keep your eyes on him. Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line is dealing with injuries, so Judon will need help from Arnold Ibakiti, who had 6 sacks last year for a team that was dead last in pass rush win rate in 2023 with 30.9%. Stat knows that the Steelers have a 15-2-1 record against the Falcons. Pittsburgh's last loss to the Atlanta Falcons was in 2006. The Cardinals and the Bills. Keep your eyes on Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously the rookie wide receiver at Ohio State. He's making his debut. See how Kyler Murray does his thing with him. The Bills, obviously the wide receiver situation needs to be replaced. Who's going to be stepping up at wide receiver? Joe Brady is taking over the offensive coordinator role full time, and Josh Allen, who's going to be his best receivers, step up. Stat to know is that the Bills lost 45% of receiving yards and 52% of receiving touchdowns from last season because they lost Stephon Diggs to Houston and Gabe Davis to Jacksonville. So they lost 45% of receiving yards and 52% of receiving touchdowns. Patriots and the Bengals. The Patriots offensive line is likely going to be without starters Vederian Lowe with an oblique injury at left tackle, at left guard Sadie So, which makes a big time challenge against the Bengals defensive line. New England ranked last in the NFL in pass block win rate, 43.4%. Bengals storyline to watch: the Bengals are 8.5-point favorites. The New England secondary will serve as a good test for Joe Burrow, who will be back from on the center from a wrist injury that he had a season ago. Also, Jamal Chase is going to be back. He already practiced. He was waiting a new deal. Looks like he's going to be playing this week. Also got Jonathan Jones for the Patriots. Keep your eyes on him. Seth knows that since 2020, since this decade began, the Bengals are 1-7 the first 2 weeks of the season, tying with the Vikings for the worst record in the NFL. Titans and the Bears. This is a debut of quarterback Caleb Williams. His first game. Titans and the Bears. When we look at this matchup, keep your eyes on Denard Wilson, the defensive coordinator of the Titans. See how he does on the defensive end. He's all about blitzing relentlessly and mixing up coverages pre and post snap to confuse Caleb Williams. Expect that from him. It's about to make him uncomfortable. The Bears, obviously, Caleb Williams is aims to become the first quarterback drafted #1 to win his first career start since David Carr did it in 2002, because things have not been good for rookie quarterbacks in their first start in the NFL, because the past 15 quarterbacks selected with the top pick are 0-14-1 in their first start. So Chicago wants Williams to lean on the players around him. Ozzie has a lot of weapons, and DJ Moore, new acquisition Keenan Allen. See what happens. He's the only rookie in NFL history to start his team's season opener with 2 receivers who had 90-plus receptions the previous season. Keenan Allen had 108 and DJ Moore 96. Seth knows that the Bears running back DeAndre Swift finished with 745 yards before contact last season, which was second most in the NFL behind Christian McCaffrey, 888. Texas and the Colts. High expectations for the Texans of Houston. Keep your eyes on C.J. Stroud, obviously. He threw for 648 yards and 4 touchdown passes in 2 games against the Colts during his rookie season. Now he has Stephon Diggs, along with Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Dalton Schultz. So keep your eyes on that offense. Then you look at the Colts. Keep your eyes on the defensive side of things, as they try to generate consistent pressure on Stroud for just to compensate, just make up for that young secondary that they have. And he did sack Stroud 6 times in the first meeting last season, adding 18 quarterback pressures. The second meeting, the offensive line of Houston was at full strength. The Colts sacked Stroud only twice and produced just 8 pressures. So see what happens on this Sunday. The Colts are winless in 10 straight season openers, which is the longest active streak and the second longest in NFL history. Jaguars and Dolphins. Keep your eyes, obviously, with the Jaguars. The Jaguars could be a sleeper team. They got receivers Gabe Davis. They drafted rookie Brian Thomas Jr. So that's definitely going to help. Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback, stretch the field. Davis has averaged 16.7 yards per catch in his 4-year career. Brian Thomas Jr. averaged 17.3 yards per catch last season at LSU. So, quarterback Trevor Lawrence has already came off that his best year of his career of deep throws, 13 of 42 on throws, at least 25 yards in the air for 505 yards. So you're going to definitely take more shots down the field. The storyline for the Dolphins, keep your eyes on the offensive line of the Dolphins. They're going to be having 3 new starters, excluding new center Aaron Brewer. They got a lot of weapons with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Keep your eyes on that. Stat knows that Tyreek Hill He's averaged 109.9 receiving yards per game in 8 season openers. That's the most career receiving yards per game in season openers in NFL history. Panthers at the Saints. Keep your eyes on for the Panthers. Native quarterback Bryce Young's 62 sacks came against New Orleans, so we'll see how the offensive line of the Panthers protect him. And they try to do their best this offseason by spending $150 million on upgrading the middle of the line with guards Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt, and move veteran guard Austin Corbett to center. And that's why new coach Dave Canales, who has a reputation for turning around quarterbacks, spent the offseason asking Young to get rid of the ball in no more than 2.7 seconds, and brought in receiver Deontay Johnson. Get separation. For the Saints, keep your eyes on the offensive line. They allowed 13 sacks in 4 games, and they led results in Derek Carr getting hurt. So keep your eyes on the offensive line. In the new scheme, they got new coordinator Clint Kubiak. It's going to be important that Derek Carr gets protected by this offensive line. Seth knows the Panthers were the only winless team on the road last season. 0-9. Last road win was a 10-7 victory over the Saints on January 8th, 2023. Vikings and the Giants. Giants will begin their 100th season facing the Vikings at home. The Vikings are kicking off one of the least anticipated seasons of their recent history. Obviously, they dealing with injuries like J.J. McCarthy. He's out with a knee injury. Now you got Sam Darnold replacing him. They got the 5th most difficult schedule. So the Vikings are slight favorites against the Giants. For the Giants, keep your eyes on Malik Neighbors, the number 6 overall pick, as the number 1 wide receiver. So he gets a favorable matchup in Week 1 against the Vikings defense that allowed a healthy 80.6 yards per game, 8 touchdowns to number 1 receivers last season. But they did, Minnesota did get Stephon Gilmore and Shaquille Griffin. They're going to try to contain Neighbors. So keep your eyes on that matchup. Stat knows that Darnold has a 42 total QBR over his career, the worst among the 26 QBs, with 50 starts since he entered the league in 2018. Next, we got the Raiders and the Chargers. 4-5 kickoff. As Jim Harbaugh starts his debut as a Chargers coach. For the Raiders, keep your eyes on Devontae Adams. Looks like Gardner Minshew is going to be the starting quarterback, looks like. See what happens with that. Keep your eyes on the Chargers, secondary as they try to stop Devontae Adams. Seth knows that Jim Harbaugh, this will be his first game as an NFL head coach. Since 2014 season, he has the 5th best winning percentage at .695 as head coach in NFL history. Broncos and Seahawks. Broncos rookie quarterback Bo Nix. Keep your eyes on him. He's the first rookie to be named team captain since they in franchise history since Hall of Famer running back Floyd Little was a captain of the team in 1967. He opens up against the Seahawks. He will be the first rookie quarterback to start for coach Sean Payton, the first rookie quarterback to start at Broncos opener since John Elway did in 1983. Keep your eyes on that. The Mike McDonald era begins in Seattle against Denver. This is his debut, obviously coming from Baltimore Ravens. So see how he does as a coach. Stat knows that the Broncos have lost 4 of their past 5 season openers. Each loss was by 1 score, including 1 point loss in each of the past 2 seasons. And we got a big game, Cowboys and the Browns. Keep your eyes on the Cowboys. Offensive line, they got two starting rookies that are going to be starting. One of them is left tackle Tyler Guyton. So see how he handles Myles Garrett for Cleveland. Cooper Beebe, the center. See what he does. As Dak Prescott tries to be protected by these two rookies on the offensive line. And then we look at the Browns. Keep your eyes on the quarterback Deshaun Watson. See what he does in the offensive line. Jack Conklin, right tackle, is going to move to the left side. See how he handles Michael Parsons. Snap knows that CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver of the Dallas Cowboys, is 5 receptions away from being the fastest Cowboys player to reach 400 career receptions, passing Dez Bryant for 80 games. Commanders of Washington against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Keep your eyes on Jaden Daniels. He's the third first-round pick to start for the Washington since Robert Griffin III in 2012. So we'll see what happens with that. The Buccaneers, keep your eyes on their defense. They had the seventh best defense last season in terms of points allowed per game, 19.1. They surrendered 65 pass plays or 20 more yards, though. That was the second most. So they also surrendered 6 rushing touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks. So we'll see what they do against Jaden Daniels. Really, they'll throw the deep ball and run the football. So we'll see what happens. Stat knows that the Commanders of Washington allowed 30.5 points per game a season ago, which was the fourth most by any team over the past decade. You got the nightcapper on NBC and Peacock, especially NBC, Rams and the Lions. It's a rematch of last year's postseason matchup. Rams, keep your eyes on Puka Nacua. He missed 3 weeks during training camp with a knee injury, but he's looking like he's going to be playing this week against the Lions. He's a rookie sensation, 105 receptions, 1,486 yards during the regular season. He came up big in the playoff loss against the Lions, 9 catches, 181 yards and a touchdown. There was NFL records for receiving yards by a rookie in a playoff game. The Lions, keep your eyes on running back Jahmyr Gibbs. He says he's healthy, dealing with a hamstring injury. So we'll see what happens with him. So that knows that running back for the Rams, Kyren Williams, had 7 straight games with 100 scrimmage yards to end the season, which is the longest active streak in the NFL. And finally, we got the Jets and the 49ers. Obviously, the Jets storyline, Aaron Rodgers, will he be back to being healthy? Will he be able to play a full season? That's all that needs to be said. 63 regular season record against the 49ers. They back to, obviously, when he was with the Packers. And he's throwing 20 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. 49ers, let's keep your eyes on them. As the offense of the 49ers and the Jets defense or anything like it was in 2023, this could be a great battle because since the NFL merger in 1970, this will be the first time the team that led the NFL in offensive yards per play, 6.6 for the 49ers, will meet the defense that led the NFL in fewest yards per play, 4.6. So we'll see what happens. Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan. See, Robert Saleh was the defensive coordinator under Niners coach Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco from 2017 to 2020. So, stats to know is that in 2023, the Jets allowed the fewest passing yards to wide receivers by any team since 2016, the Broncos, 1,588. So that's basically it right now. Look at the games that's going to be taking place. Now let's look at the scores currently right now between the Packers and the Eagles. The Eagles just scored a touchdown to lead 31-26. Saquon Barkley scored his second touchdown of the game, and it's 31-26 in favor of the Eagles. Shootout. No defense or offense. A lot of points put up from an offensive standpoint. All right, so let's get into my picks of the week for the week 1 of the NFL season. We'll start with the Giants. I think the Giants will win this week. Over the Vikings, I got the Bills over the Cardinals, the Dolphins over the Jaguars, and the Texans over the Colts, and the Cowboys over the Browns. Those are my 5 picks of the week. Giants over Vikings, Bills over Cardinals, Dolphins over the Jaguars, and Texans over the Colts, and the Cowboys over the Browns. Giants, Bills, Dolphins, Texans, Cowboys are my winners for week 1 of the 2024 NFL season. Giants over the Vikings, Bills over Cardinals, Dolphins over Jaguars, Texans over the Colts, Cowboys over Browns. So that's it for tonight's show for Football Friday with Rashad Mitchell. Be back next Friday to recap the college football games that were played in week 2, go over the picks of the week from week 2, and go over the picks of the games for week 3. NFL-wise, recap what took place in week 1, and also go over the picks from week 1 and look forward to week 2. So that's it for the show, Football Fridays with Rashad Mitchell, every Friday night. Do this probably at 10 o'clock at night. So until then, talk to you next Friday night.